This is the Telemetry Transportation Daily for June 25th, 2025, and I'm Sam Abul-Samad, Vice President of Market Research for Telemetry. It was probably a complete coincidence, but we visited two separate Michigan factories on consecutive days for lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, batteries. However, only the second of those factories is actually operational at this point. After visiting Ford's Blue Oval Battery Park in Marshall, Michigan on Monday, we went to the LG Energy Solution plant in Holland on Tuesday. The Ford plant is still about a year away from volume production, but the LG plant began producing LFP cells in May of this year. While the Ford factory is going to produce batteries for the automaker's next generation of lower-cost EVs, the LG plant is currently focused on cells for stationary storage. The Holland plant has been operational since 2012 as the first large-scale EV battery plant in the U.S. and has supplied GM, Stellantis, and most recently Ford. LG announced a major expansion in 2022, which was originally planned to produce more nickel manganese cobalt cells for Toyota's new U.S.-built EVs. However, as the growth of EV sales slowed, LG made some strategic shifts. It purchased GM's stake in a joint venture plant in Lansing, Michigan, which will now supply Toyota, and switched the Holland expansion to LFP for the growing stationary storage market. The manufacturing process is basically the same as the nickel-rich cells, but the chemistry and cell layout has been optimized for the storage application, which requires less power but longer longevity. Extra energy storage batteries are expected to have a charge cycle life of at least 6,000 cycles, or about 20 years. The Holland plant has a capacity of 16.5 gigawatt hours per year, and for the foreseeable future, LG plans to focus that output exclusively on energy storage systems, although EV cells could also be produced if the demand is there, although it sounds like they are more likely to switch over other production lines to serve the automotive market. The storage market is growing rapidly, and particularly for data centers that require huge amounts of reliable power. LGES estimates a demand of about 135 gigawatt hours per year in this sector. This and the Ford plant are important developments for the U.S. battery industry that has been almost exclusively focused on nickel-rich cells until now, with China being an almost exclusive source for LFP. It's likely that more manufacturers will shift at least some capacity to LFP over the next few years to support both EVs and energy storage. Thanks for listening.